This is the Triumph Speedmaster, and we've reviewed all of the Triumph Bonnevilles now, and have we saved the best till last? Apart from being a stupendously good-looking motorcycle, the thing that sets the Bonneville Speedmaster apart from all the others is the forward controls here, which means your feet are positioned forwards rather than back here like all the other ones, and that makes for a really comfortable riding position. I've been riding it around for hours and hours and hours. It's so much fun and so comfortable. You've got this really plush seat here, which is extremely comfortable. You've got a pull back on the handlebars, which is unusual. If you don't like that, of course you can change that, but in fact it's quite nice to ride with, and I didn't find any problems at all apart from very tight turns at junctions. You get your hands into a bit of an awkward position, but other than that, it's a nice feel to the handlebars. You've got the 16-inch wheels, front and rear, big fat tyres, and that helps absorb some of the road bumps and what have you. You've got a monoshock rear suspension and the springs under the seat, and it's adjustable for preload. The suspension doesn't have masses of travel. It's a road bike, none of them do. So if you bash yourself into a pothole on the road, you will feel a metallic clunk in the front there, and it will bottom out. But other than that, the suspension's very good, and the ride is superb. The Speedmaster has the parallel twin 1200cc engine, and it produces 76.9 brake horsepower at 6,100 RPM. But you do feel the torque from very low RPM. It peaks at 106 Newton meters at 4,000 RPM, but you do get a lot of torque from, say, 2.5 onwards. So it's a nice bike to burble around, and you can just open the throttle without changing down gears, and it'll pull up hills and what have you. So it's a very nice torquey engine. The wheelbase is 1500 millimeters and the rake is 25.3 degrees. That's the steepness of the headstock, usually the same angle as the forks, not always. And the trail is 91.4 millimeters. It's a bit complicated, look it up, but that's basically the steering geometry. And as with all Triumphs, it's a responsive, sharp steering bike, but it's not at all twitchy. It corners very nicely and is a pleasure to ride. You've got a 12-litre, very beautiful fuel tank, absolutely beautiful. Paintwork is absolutely perfect. And it does 60.9 miles per gallon, which is incredible. The weight is 263 kilograms, and when you're riding, it doesn't feel heavy, but it does feel solid and planted, which is one of the advantages of a heavier bike. So you do feel very stable, and that's no bad thing. The service intervals on this is every 10,000 miles or once a year, whichever comes first. The Speedmaster is priced from £11,850 in the UK, and it now fills a gap, well it always has really, but it now more so than ever fills a gap where the Harley-Davidson Sportsters have disappeared because they don't meet the Euro emissions anymore. So now this reminds me of a Harley-Davidson 48 somewhat, but it's a very similar sort of bike. And dare I say it, even better. I mean, it really is a very superb bike. So if you're on the market for that sort of bike with forward controls and these sort of looks, look at it, it's a beautiful motorcycle. The seat height is 705 millimeters, and I'm 6'2", and with the forward controls, I've got plenty of room and it feels very spacious. There's tons of room for the arms. So it feels like quite a big bike when you're sitting on it. Whether it looks big or not, I don't know. If you were shorter than me, of average height, 5'10", you'd be absolutely fine. If you were shorter than that, I think you'd be fine because of the seat height not being so tall. But the length from seat to handlebar is quite long. But with the pullback, that allows for a little bit more room. If you were taller, you can always change the handlebars to bring your hands a little bit further forwards. quick run through of what it's got. You've got double disc brakes at the front, Brembo brakes. Fantastic stopping power, really is good.
Oh God, very good.
Got a nice old-fashioned headlight there. Analog speedometer, perfect. 2 modes, I hate modes. 2 modes is enough. Rain and road, that's all you need. Maybe 3 modes at the most. And you don't have all these menus to scroll through and all this fiddling about. So it's nice and simple. If it's in rain mode, you don't feel any particular difference to the way it delivers its power. But obviously if you open it up fully or what have you, if you're in slippery conditions, then it will bring in the traction control more than in road. But it rides very nicely. No problems there. You've got these twin exhaust pipes, one either side, nice and short. It makes a nice sound. Obviously it complies with the law. If you changed the rear can to something a little bit louder, you could get a nice bark from this engine. It pops and bangs on deceleration, down the hills especially. So that is really nice. You've got the hidden suspension under the seat. It looks like a hardtail, but it's a soft tail, as they call them. And the styling is absolutely beautiful. I like this little grab rail at the back. Got a rear seat which comes off. You can change the way it looks a little bit in that way, and there's loads of accessories from Triumph, and the mirrors are brilliant. At last, some mirrors where you can actually see all of the road behind you, so that's brilliant there. So very well thought out motorcycle, very well designed, ergonomically perfect and faultless. The bike also has cruise control, so you simply press the button in, it sets the speed you're at, and to deactivate it you either brake, accelerate or throttle off. And with all fly-by-wire throttles you do have a little bit of a extra sort of off position, and if you do that it cancels the cruise control. As I said at the beginning of the video, we've ridden all the Triumph Bonnevilles now, and I genuinely believe we have saved the best till last, because this bike is absolutely stupendous. I love it. It's beautiful to look at. I mean, drop dead gorgeous looks. Quality parts. I mean, it does look absolutely beautiful. It's a wonderful bike to ride. It's very comfortable. The engine is amazing. The way it's been tuned and what have you, they all differ, the Bonnevilles. I like the way this has been tuned because it gives you plenty of oomph. It's responsive, but not too much. And you don't always want a snappy, sharp bike. You don't need the most powerful bike in the world. It's got just the right amount to be very, very fun, but not so much to be very, very dangerous. So you can have a whale of a time on this bike. You can burble along all day long, exploring the world, or you can open it up and have a bit of a laugh. It is everything. So this is the best Bonneville money can buy. So that's a big statement, isn't it? So what do you think? Would you agree with me there? Or do you have a Bonneville, or are you looking at getting a Bonneville, and do you have a difference of opinion? As I said, my opinion is this is the number one. It's wonderful. A lot of bikes that I test ride, I ride around, they're all fun. I like motorbikes, so I don't care what they are. But sometimes you finish the test ride, put it away, and that's the end of it. With this, I've been going on and on, a few extra miles. I think I'll go somewhere else. I've really enjoyed riding this bike, and it's one of the bikes that I would get out again and have another ride just for the fun of it. Wales. Look at it, it's so pretty. And this bike is just the perfect bike for touring around countryside like this. Now, Triumph makes some amazing bikes, as we all know. But one thing they don't do is a sort of full-sized cruiser motorcycle. Now, I think it'd be nice if Triumph could look at the BMW R18, which I would say is the best handling cruiser on the planet. The engine obviously is very much a piece of art and it's a statement. Take the engine away and put whatever engine you like in your head into the R18, you've got the best handling cruiser out there. The Harley Davidson cruisers as well. So if you can mate the best of the Harley cruisers and the BMW R18 into a Triumph cruiser, you've got a bike that will sell very, very well indeed. Let us know what you've thought of the beautiful Welsh countryside. If you didn't see our last video, we have moved to Wales and the scenery here is just off the planet. It's amazing. Darcy's staying in Uppingham and he is doing a review of the Harley Davidson Softail Standard, and also he's going to be talking about how that is restricted to the A2 license, which will be very interesting indeed. I've got a Harley Davidson Road King Special in the garage right there waiting for the next review, so that's coming up as well. Lots of bikes coming and some very surprising, very interesting news to announce, but not yet, so wait and see. Make sure you subscribe, hit the bell, check out our t-shirts, buy one, it helps us a lot, and we appreciate your support. See you on the next video.